All right.
I have it with a note 1.
You should.
Oh, me too.
Okay. All right, you do you. Okay, so here we go, you guys. We're going to take a look. This is the 18.3 worksheet. So we're going to go through and crank out the odds on this one here. So first one here, find the missing length indicated. Look, this is the nice part about this is pretty similar to what we were doing on 18.2. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing the same thing. Set ourselves up a little ratio here. I want to make sure I get my question mark in there. I'm going to put that as an X. So I got X there. What do you suppose? What number are we going to put on the bottom here? There is actually one right answer because there's 2 different ways we could do this. But what's that?
2.
Yes, let's do this. That goes to this, right? Because those are both, like you can look at that as being on the small triangle. So X is the 2. Okay. And then what do we have to put in the top right over here? Yeah, because we have this one here, right? And then that's going to have to correspond to, just go straight across to that right over there, right? So 2 over 1. It's making okay sense? All right, cross multiply like we've been doing. That looks like a Z, but that's supposed to be a 2. So look, we get 1 times X is X equals 2 times 2. So X is 4. This is what we call rocket science, right? We got this. Totally got this. Okay, this one here, a little different because look, we've got this length here is what we're trying to figure out. Again, I like X's better, and they give us that. And over here we have this, but we don't have this over here, but we know that the whole thing is 12. So we kind of got to go through and we got to like fix this so we can make this work. Okay, so how about this? Up here, we just did this one side to the other, like the little section to this other section. So look, this here, we'd probably want to do X is 2. We want to know what this length is right here, right? If this whole thing is 12 and this is 3, how can we figure out what that is right there? What do you guys think? I know you guys know. This whole thing is 12. This is 3. How do we figure out what this part right here is? Yes, to subtract the 3 from the 12. That means that this length right here is 9. So let's do this. X goes to 9. And then what are we going to put over here? Top right over here in our little ratio. We started with X and went to 9. So the top right's going to have to be what? 5. And then that's going to have to go to straight across or straight down on this 5 is the 3, right? So cross multiply and divide, and we're good to go. So 3 times X equals 5 times 9. So 3X is 45. Divide both sides by 3, and we get X equals 15. Good? Okay, and also remember out there, and if you're on the Zoom and you've got questions, just stop me and ask if you've got them. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of keep on trucking. Okay. Okay. 5. Oh, look, 5's kind of the same thing as the last one. The question mark piece here is right there, so we can start this out. And you know, you don't have to always set it up the way that I'm doing it, but I just figure if we just keep doing the same thing over and over again, that becomes really easy, right? Because there's actually multiple different ways to do this, but if you learn one way really good, you don't even have to worry about the other way. So let's do this. X is to, let's do X is to 6. As now we want to know what this side is right here, but we don't have that. And now look, this is the weird part. Because right now we have that this whole thing here is 24, and that's X. So what we did before to figure out what that is we took the long side, 24, and we subtracted off this little piece here, 24 minus X. That's, guess what? Can't simplify that. That's what this piece right here is going to be. So that's what our top right is going to be, 24 minus X. And that's going to go to this side over here. And look, that's, oh, you know what? There's an easier way to do this. But you know, we can do this. Let's keep doing this and then I'll show you the easier way. Because this way is kind of small along with the system we did. So if this is 6 and 16, 16 minus 6 gives us that this here is 10. Okay, so then we can do a little cross multiply. This will work just fine. But there is a little nicer way to do it. Yeah, so that's okay. So of course I wrote in our way here. So let's see, we got 10x, 10 times x equals 6 times 24 minus x, right? So this one's a little different. Normally we'll go through and divide by the 6, but we've got this 10x over here, which is not gonna, and we could, and it will work. Just gonna give us a weird decimal. So let's distribute it through instead. That'll just make it a little bit nicer for us. 10x equals 6 times 24, 244, 144. Thank you, minus 6x. Let's see, let's add 6x to both sides. 16x is 144. Divide both sides by 16. And what do you get? 9? Okay, so we can do it that way. Or, look, here's another way. Lucy, how'd you set yours up?
24 over 16 equals x over 6.
So you did big side is the big side. So you did 24 is to 16. So she did this. 24 is to 16 as x here is the 6. And that works just fine too. So look, this is a little bit nicer. Because look, we go straight to 16x equals 24 times 6. 24 times 6, that's times, that's 144, which is what we got right down here. Divide both sides by 16, and x is 9. So you can see that this is definitely a little, I mean, it's a little bit less work, but still, either way. And that's probably easier to understand too. Okay, whichever way you want to do it is totally good. Okay, any questions on that one at all? Oops, I didn't do the other one. What am I doing? Struggling, that's what I'm doing. Okay. This one here, oh, this one's a little nicer, isn't it? Because there's our x. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do x is to 12. And then up here, since we started on the right, and start on the right again, 20 is to 15, all right? Really, this first piece over here, it's pretty much you can set it up however you want. You just got to follow the same rules, whatever you did over here, to come up with this one. Because if you flip those around, that's what's going to mess up your answer. Okay. So we got 15 times x equals 12 times 20. So 15x, 12 times 20 is 240. All right. Divide both sides by 15. Okay. 240 divided by 15 gives us 16. So we get 16 for that one. We doing okay on this? It's really pretty. You guys see how similar it is to yesterday's stuff and the day before, right? Kind of keep doing a lot of the same thing over and over again. So this one here, let's try to do this. This one here we'll do a little bit different way so that we can make it a little bit easier. So look, like what Lucy told us earlier, she did big side to big side and then question mark to 8, right? So let's do this. We've got x is to 8. All right, so we did x is to 8 as 25 is to, and now it's got to be both of these together, right? So 8 plus 12 is 20. So we're going to go as 25 goes to 20. You see what we're coming up with there? Find the whole length instead of doing that x minus 25 business, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So 20x equals 8 times 25. Let's see, 8 times 25, I think is 200, isn't it? Both sides by 20. And we get that x is 10. Good. Still doing okay? Any questions out there at all in our Zoom? You guys feeling okay? I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I feel thinking that you guys are doing all right. Okay. Last one. Ooh, yes, this one here, 11 on the back side. If you're working on this and you're kind of like figuring out as you go, this one is definitely more challenging. That's why I put it on here, just to kind of give you a little bit extra challenge. This one gets a little weird. So if my point is if you're not on 11 on the backside, the sale problem, take a look to make sure that you're getting this, because this gets again, gets a little weird. Here's the thing. You're going to find all these different lengths, A, J, C, D, H, G, G, F, all that kind of good stuff. Here's the big key, I think, on this whole thing is if you look here, we have 2.5. We don't have anything over there. We've got 2.25 and 1.8. We've got this one, but not that. We have this one, but not that. This is the key. We know these two. We're going to set up a bunch of ratios with those two numbers going together here, okay? So if we're looking for AJ, that's this line right here. Okay, so let's see, this is letter A, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to call that length A. So if we're going to set up a proportion to figure out what A is, we want to know what A is. So we do A is 2, and let's do what we've been doing. A is the 2.5. As here, again, these are the keys right here, because this is the one spot in here that they give you both sides. So let's do this as 1.8 is to 2.25, and then we can do cross multiply. I know this looks awful because it's a decimal, but it's okay. We'll survive. 2.25a equals 2.5 times 1.8. Okay, is this making sense as to how we set this up?
Yeah.
Again, the big key is this piece right here. I know I keep saying that over and over again, but without that, the rest of this really isn't going to work very well. So let's do this. 2.5 times 1.8 gives us 4.5. And divide both sides by 2.25. And we get that A is 2, right? Okay. So now, not only do we have these two pieces, now we actually have these, and this might be a little bit nicer to use in the future because we have 2 is the 2.5. The only thing is you got to make sure that you got this right, because if you mess this one up, it's going to mess up all the rest of your answers if you use that proportion thing above. Okay. So let's look at, how about this? Let's do in our normal fashion, let's do every other one. And then I'll let you guys do the, except for this. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's do H to G. So H to G is the one we want to figure out. This is letter C. So this is what we're looking for, right? So we can set up a proportion. We want to know C, and let's go. C is the 3.5. And again, if you're really confident in this answer, you can use this as your ratio. This is probably your safer bet, but it's also our decimally bet. But you know what? I'm feeling really good about this answer. So let's use this. Let's go. 2 is the 2.5. Oops. 2 is the 2.5. So then we cross multiply again. And away we go. It just gives it a little bit nicer decimals that we're dealing with. 2.5c equals 2 times 3.5. That gives us 7. And divide both sides by 2.5. We get that C. Oh no, that's going to give us something weird, isn't it? 7 divided by 2.5. 2.8. This one here is 2.8. This one up here was 2. All right. And then now it's telling us to find the perimeter of AEF. So my guess is we found, look, we don't know what GF is and we don't know what CD is, but that they're going to have us find those two pieces right here. So once you do that, you add those all up to find the perimeter. And then you find the area, right? And the area of a triangle, if you'll remember, area equals 1/2 base times the height, right? Here's our base number, right? For this over here. I should do this in I'm going to do this all in different colors so that you know what I'm talking about here. So area equals 1/2 base times height, right? So the base of this triangle, because this is going to be a right angle over here, this is our base number, 6.5. And then our height is going to be all of these numbers here added up. So once you find what CD is, once you find this number here, you add those all up, and that's going to be your height, and then away we go. All right. Just feeling good about this. Look at that. We've got lots of time left to work on this stuff. Okay, just feeling okay-ish about that. I know I only showed you a couple here, but this one is a little extra challenging, and that's I thought this would be good just to make sure that you can get this all rolling. Okay, so work on this. If you've got questions, make sure that you ask, and we'll make sure that we get it all figured out.